Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Vlogmas videos. My name is Cassie and today we're going to be taking a look at my favorite 21 things from 2021. Pretty basic. It'll be across categories such as knitting, sewing, beauty, YouTube videos, podcasts, and TV shows that I watched while doing creative things, and a few other categories in there as well. Before we get into it, if you are not yet subscribed, I would really love if you did subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow out this space and be able to reach more of you. And if you would like to give this video a like, I would also really appreciate it. It does help me with the YouTube algorithm. I will start with the thrifted category. So I'm a pretty avid thrifter when I'm not making things. So I do try to make my own wardrobe, but it's not always possible for everything, or at least not yet, maybe in the future. But I do love thrifting, and especially for like shoes and those like special items here and there. So one of my favorite items that I thrifted this year are a new thrift purchase, I would say, but a really exciting one. It's these Fry boots that I thrifted. I think I got them for $15. They're so cool. They're like a sort of like riding style boot, but they've got a bit of like a chunky heel. They are like a size too big for me, but I've been wearing them with like really thick socks and like tucking my pants into them, and I've been really liking wearing them that way. They look like they've been like hardly ever worn. They've got like the nice square toe, and like these would be so expensive new. So I'm really stoked about that purchase. It's like the thrifting gods were with me. Thrifting goddesses. We're gonna go with the matriarchal figure there. So yeah, my Fry boots come in at number one. Number two is actually something that I thrifted maybe like late summer. So they were just starting to put out their like fall winter coats, and I always kind of check the sections that are maybe like a little bit off season, because I find like sometimes you can just score a really good deal there. And I did with this, let me take the hanger out maybe, this APC wool coat. I looked this up online in the thrift store because APC is like a really lovely, I think like, I would say like maybe designer brand, but at least like it's quite high end. And this coat is in such good shape. It like honestly looks like it was hardly ever worn. I took it into the dry cleaners. Normally I would like hand wash my like finds at home, but I decided to take it into the dry cleaner because I really wanted to take care of it, and I love it so much. It fits me like a glove. Like it fits me absolutely perfectly. I love this coat so much. I'm gonna get so much wear out of it. I've already gotten a lot of wear out of it, and it's just like it's 100% wool on the outer. The wool is really soft. It was like a really lucky find, and I'm really happy to wear this. Honestly, together, it's like such a killer combination. I love it so much. Okay, I'm gonna put this down. And then lastly, of my favorite thrifted items are these vintage suede pants. They're like a tapered leg. They again fit me absolutely perfectly. They could be in like a little bit better shape, I would say, but I think I'm gonna look into how to treat suede and maybe like condition them, because it could use like a little bit of love. But overall, they're in really good shape. I think I got these for $15, and then I got the coat for maybe $15, and these were $15. So overall, like getting some good finds for a steal. So yeah, I would say I'm really happy with these. They need a little bit of love, but definitely like a top 3 purchase. On to my favorite sewing projects. So obviously a category that I think a lot of you initially came here for was, my sewing stuff. And this channel has, I think, developed into a bit of like a sewing and knitting channel. So thanks for staying tuned for both types of videos. I really appreciate it. But into the sewing content, my favorite item that I made was the orchards dress from Vivian. I absolutely love this pattern. I love making this dress. I think I've made now 2 variations of it. One that I made that was like a slimmer version, made with like a black linen noir or linen viscose noir. So it's got like a slight slubby texture. It's really drapey, perfect, like awesome layering piece. Can wear it in the summer, in the fall, and like kind of just, you know, it's good throughout the year depending on how you style it. And I've already styled it a bunch of different ways. And then the other option is definitely more of like a proper spring summer dress. I have worn it in the fall, but I'm not really as much of like I don't wear like light dresses or like white dresses in the winter too much. It's just not really like my style, but maybe I'll try it out. But I did think I packed away this one, so I won't be able to wear it until the springtime. It's this lovely double cotton gauze from Riverside Fabrics, and it has this like really subtle checker detail throughout it. Everyone loved this fabric when I posted this dress, and I think Riverside still has some of that fabric if you want to nab some for your spring or summer makes. Next up in second is a more recent make. It is the Nico top. It's my half and half turtleneck that I've posted a video about making, and it comes with a little tutorial if you're curious about making one for yourself. Really quick and easy make, super fun, super gratifying, fun to make in a solid color or fun to make in the 2 colors that I did. I really loved how this project turned out and inspired me to do a little bit more color blocking and color work in the future. Next and last favorite, but I mean really my heart is with the Jenny overalls. Probably, no, I should have put this at number 1 because it is my favorite make that I have ever made. And you know, it's really cool to see me get so much wear out of the Jenny overalls because I mean, I've worn them in a ton of videos already. I've probably my most worn make of 2021, but I'll have to like check back in my Instagram feed to make sure. And I just like, you know, they definitely need to be mended in some areas. There is some like work to be done, but like overall, funny. So yeah, like I just wear them all the time. They definitely are not my like most perfect make. They're actually pretty flawed and like definitely not made all that well, I will say, because it was a really new sewist. I think I made them in January or February. So, you know, it's almost a full year of growth, but I would love to make the Jenny overalls again. I am so excited about that project. I just really love the style and they're comfy and they fit me so well. And I actually did fit them to myself. So I did a little bit of, you know, adjusting as I went, and they're just perfect. I really, really love them. I've gotten so much use out of them, and I just love to see they're kind of like a marker of like how far I've come, but also how like even if things aren't perfect, you can still wear them and love them so much. Next up are knitted objects. So wearing one of them right now. This is the Claude sweater from Joanna, or Colibri by Joanna Knits. It is in a full garter stitch, and it has it was made with Knitting for Olive superfine merino and soft silk mohair, I think it's what it's called. And I keep doing this because I want to show you if you can see the texture of it, and the halo is so nice. I love this sweater so much, and I've definitely gotten so much wear out of it, but I am trying to be careful because I don't want to ruin it. But I would say it's pretty hardy. It hasn't really like shown any wear just yet. But this was my first sort of real like adventure knit, I would say. And, I mean, it's still a beginner knitting pattern, but I just love like the big balloon sleeves, and so many things about this sweater were new for me, and you know, it was my first time seaming a sweater, so knitting them in 4 separate pieces and seaming them together. It's my first time knitting a project with mohair, and so I'm hooked now. And it really spurred along this like love and desire to make sweaters. So yeah, it's pretty cool if you ask me. I love this sweater so much. So yes, it'll probably always be my number one. It's also my favorite to wear because it's just like so soft and comfy. Next knitted object is this sweater. It's the Louise pullover from Northside Knits, I believe is what they're called, Northside Knits Co. It's the Louise pullover sweater. It's a popcorn style sweater made with baubles, and it is inspired by the Misha and Puff popcorn sweater. And I'm sure you have, if you have not seen my video on this, then you've likely seen it on the internet, either the real one or, you know, the slight copy, I'll say. But it's a really fun knit. I loved making this sweater. Really enjoyable with the baubles. I will say that my wrists definitely hurt a little bit after making this sweater. And in the future, I would probably make a bigger size. This is the extra small knit with BC Garn Samilla. So in the future, I would definitely like make a bigger size, but this is a size that I got because, well, I didn't have enough yarn, and I had already bought the yarn when I decided to make this sweater, and I could not find any more. So, c'est la vie. This is it. I love it. It's I definitely have to unravel the bottom and do a stretchier cast off because I did not do a stretchy cast off, and it's a bit hard to pull up on and off, but other than that, I really love it. Okay, so next we will switch gears just a little bit, and I know it's not like making related, but you know, in terms of like YouTubing and Instagram and all that stuff, I would say like the beauty category has become not like important to me, but I have started to like invest in products that make me feel really good to wear and make me, you know, feel confident on camera and all of that stuff. So, and also taking care of your hands is like deeply underrated, I would say. Let me get into the first one. It is this Burt's Bees lemon butter cuticle cream. Just looks like that on the inside. And I'm actually gonna put some on right now. I find with like working in a fabric store and cutting fabric and hauling it off the shelves, and then also knitting and living in a cold and dry climate like Toronto, my hands just get wrecked in the wintertime and just in general, really. So I bought this cuticle cream because I wanted to start taking a better care of my hands, and honestly, it's just been like a really like nice little routine changer for me. And it's like this become a bit of like a self-care routine, but also it's like I'm taking care of the health of my hands, and it also encourages a little bit of like self-massage. And you know, as knitters and makers and sewists and all that, we really like need to love our hands and give them the attention they deserve, because they do so much for us. And it just gives like a nice little sheen, and it smells really good. It kind of smells like lemon lime. So it just smells like key lime pie, to be honest. I really like this one. I got it just at the drugstore, and I highly recommend it. It's become a favorite. And then on the sort of topic of like taking care of your hands is this dry oil from Nuxe. I think it's French. Nuxe Paris. Nuxe. Anyways, oh my gosh. I'm moving to a French-speaking city and can't even tell you how to pronounce this properly, but it's a multi-purpose dry oil for face, body, and hair with plant oils. And again, I'm gonna actually put a little bit of this just like on my hands as we're going with the like self-care moment here. It feels really nice and smells so good. It's like it's subtle. If you're really sensitive to smells, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you enjoy like a subtle subtle, like musky, deeper floral fragrance. I think this one is a really nice one. I've been putting this on my hands and on my chest and a little bit on my neck and a little bit on my face more recently because I've been noticing I've been feeling really dry. So I really like this oil. It smells really nice, makes my face smell nice when I put it on my face, and overall I'm just like a big fan of that one. Next up, let's talk about face, is the CeraVe moisturizing cream, I believe, or moisturizing lotion. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see. I have it downstairs in my my bathroom, but it's a really bare bones moisturizer. Honestly, like, I didn't really particularly love it when I first started using it because it was kind of unexciting in comparison to some of the other moisturizers I would use, but it's really cost effective. You get like a gigantic bottle and I can put it, you know, on my arms and a little bit on my body without feeling like I'm wasting this like beautiful product and like expensive product. So I like it for that. I find it really nourishing. My skin reacts really well to it. And I'll probably keep buying it because I don't, you know, I don't really feel the need to buy or experiment with too many other face lotions, but adding the oil has been nice because I've been finding that it just adds a little bit more moisture to my face and kind of locks in the lotion. And then lastly, in the beauty category, I have curly hair and I've been trying to grow out my curly hair into a bit of a bob, and you've maybe on this channel seen me with a few different haircuts, and this is kind of the current iteration. We're trying to grow it out into a cute little bob, maybe at the shoulders or, you know, wherever we end up, we'll see. But I recently tried the Amika curl cream and I just really like how it gives my hair a really nice hold, but it is not crunchy. I hate that crunchiness when you get with like hair gel or mousse. So it's soft and makes my hair feel really like moisturized and healthy, but it doesn't weigh it down. So though that's my favorite hair product that I've been using, and I think that also wraps up the beauty category. So like I said, not really related to like making, but you know, I wanted to include it because it's been sort of, oh, actually there was one more. Oops. The last one is the lipstick that I'm wearing, or lip balm, lip gloss, whatever you call it. It's the Black Honey from Clinique. Now, it's so funny, I bought this years ago when I was like a teenager because I found out that Arwen from Lord of the Rings, that's like the color Liv Tyler wears on her lips in the Lord of the Rings movies. So immediately, like, you know, crush of the season had to, sorry, I'm distracted by this gigantic squirrel outside my window. It's so big. I feel like all the squirrels are like extra chunky right now because they're getting ready for the winter. But anyways, ultimate crush, Liv Tyler in Lord of the Rings. I love that color on her. I bought it, and then it also like blew up again because of TikTok recently, and so I purchased it again, and it's worth the hype. I will tell you that. I love how it looks on my lips. It's super moisturizing. It's not anything like so exciting, and it's a bit pricey for what it is, but it is like the exact sort of like lip look that I like to wear, and it feels good to wear, and I don't really have to think about it. It's not super sticky or anything like that. So that wraps up the beauty category. And like I said, honestly, like beauty, I'm not a beauty vlogger or blogger or anything like that, and I don't know a ton about beauty products. I just know what I like to use, and as I've been more on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok, you know, I don't really wear makeup very often, but when I film, I like to wear a little bit just to kind of feel like I'm preparing and like getting myself like ready mentally and physically. And it's nice to like see yourself look pretty on camera, and it kind of helps with the confidence piece. So yeah, I wanted to share my beauty products because it kind of becomes a whole part of this like making, you know, routine that I've been a part of. Now we're gonna go into sewing and knitting tools, and I recently bought these. This is it's such a small thing, but I recently bought the like needle point protectors, and I just love them like more than I can explain to you. That's what they look like. They're just like foam or like rubber. I think they're foam maybe, but like they're so simple, but they're like I just really like how they feel. Like they're so simple and like not necessary, but I'm like the queen of just like abandoning a project randomly to like go get a snack, and then I come back and it's just like mangled and I've missed, like stitches have come off the needles. And so like just remember having these nearby and putting them on, or even like at the end of the day putting these on my needles and then walking away, and coming back and everything is like nice and neat in place, has been, you know, very nice. If I put it in my bag or anything like that, they do tend to like stay put, I would say. I mean, I pushed this one off pretty hard, but anyways, very simple little tool that I've been using that I really like. Okay, next one is this quilting ruler from Fiskars. It's kind of a funny one, but like I don't quilt, but I really like this for garment sewing. It's so big. It's 23 inches tall and 5 inches wide, and I just find it is really helpful for garment sewing. If I'm tracing onto fabric, I can like lay this on the fabric as I'm like trying to get that nice sharp edge when I'm, you know, when I'm cutting or when I'm tracing. And the long width really like comes in handy, or the long length really comes in handy. So it's not like a glamorous tool, but this is, I use this pretty much every single time I sew in like some capacity or other, and I love it. Another favorite sewing tool that I would be, you know, silly to pass over is my Liew interchangeable needle set. So I think this is like what a classic like knitter's interchangeable needle set will look like. Half of the stuff missing. Just got one needle here. Everything else is like on needle tips. This just has like just a bunch of tags in here. Like it's not organized at all. But I do try to spend a little bit of time organizing it here and there, just to like try to keep things together as much as possible. But I really love this set. I love how like the case is really hardy and beautiful, but it's also thin enough that I can kind of just take it with me when I go. If I'm, you know, I can just like pack a bunch of notions in here and then leave if I'm going on like a few day trip or something like that. So yeah, I love this a lot, and it's come in handy. And it's just one of those practical tools that, you know, it's interchangeable needle set, so it's like pretty important for knitting, but it also just like still does spark joy because the needles are really nice to work with. I'll show you. Yeah, they're just like, they're really just visually beautiful. They feel good. They've got a nice weight. They're smooth. I will say that one of my smaller ones did crack. Or at first it kind of splintered and then it cracked, so that sucked. But I mean, I have been using them like I've been like hard on them, so you know, it happens. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, heavy. Okay, this is my baby. This is the Bernette B38. This is my sewing machine. I love this machine so much. I bought this for my birthday last year from the workroom in Toronto, and I did a bunch of research and I ended up going with this machine because it was, you know, I originally thought of getting a mechanical model, or what is this called? Oh, I can't think of it. But I was gonna go for a more basic, simple model, but after talking with the people at the workroom, they said that it sounds like I'm sewing a lot, and I was, and I continue to be. And they said that this machine would just be, I could level up with it and grow into it, and that is definitely true. So while a more simple model would have been fine, this one I find I use so much of the different functions. Buttonholes are a breeze. Everything is just, I really love this machine and all its functions. It makes things super easy, and it's just been like, honestly, a joy to work with. She's quite hardy, and I think she's pretty, and yeah, it's just like, I'm trying to give her lots of love and, you know, clean out the inside regularly because it gets dusty, as you know. But if you have any questions about this machine, let me know. I'm not quite a year yet into having it, but it's a very like precious thing to me. So yes, we love her. We love this machine so much. Okay, down she goes because she's heavy. Okay, and then the last category I thought would be a fun one to include. I have gone with podcasts, YouTube videos, or like YouTube channels, and TV shows. So when I'm sewing, I predominantly will either like listen to podcasts or music, but when I'm knitting, you know, it's like TV shows, and mostly TV shows and YouTube videos, to be honest. And for knitting, I've been loving watching knitting YouTube channels. So Tiffany, her podcast, Tiffany's Yarn Corner, and like the rest of her channel, I'll link her in the description box. She's so fun, fellow Canadian. I believe she's in the West Coast though, and I'm in Toronto. She's just a joy to watch, so bubbly, such a talented knitter, always has like a ton of yarn to review, which is fun. Again, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this huge squirrel outside. Like, it's so big. It's crazy. Anyways, I'll try to catch it later if I can. I mean, on video, not with my hands. Tiffany, if you see this, I think you're great. Keep doing what you're doing. You're such a talented knitter. And I know that you have been trying to get into sewing. And so if you ever want to talk about sewing, let me know, because I'm getting more into knitting and, you know, still doing sewing and all that, but I would love to chat anytime. Just a little shameless plug there. And then I've also been following Well Love Knits. Bethany is an American who lives in Belgium, and I find she's like a similar vibe to Tiffany, just like chatty videos, some tutorials, but like just lovely to watch. Really like just a nice cozy sort of vibe to her. And they both, what I really like about both their channels is that they have a similar like knitting aesthetic to me. Like they like to knit with colors or knit things that I like to knit as well. So I go to them for a lot of inspiration. And then for podcasts, I mean, it's been the same podcast since I started like discovering how to sew, but I'm gonna include them anyways because I've listened to them all year. It's Love to Sew, again, two Canadian gals who are on the West Coast. I believe they're on Vancouver Island, and then in Vancouver, the city as well. And they're just like such a joy to listen to. I really look forward to their Tuesdays. They're now doing seasons, so they're not, every week the whole year. They're in, I believe, a fall and spring season, or a winter. Anyways, fall, and I believe they do fall and spring seasons, but I would have to, I don't know. They do seasons, and I really like their podcast about sewing. I love the interviews that they do. But if you go through the season too quickly, then they have a ton of like backlog videos or podcasts that you can listen to. And it's just really fun to have on while you're sewing, or while you're cooking, or while you're doing literally anything, because that's how I listen to them. Okay, next up is a more recent find, Abby Cox. She is, I believe, a dress historian or a fashion historian, predominantly, I believe, in the Victorian era, like Victoria women's dress. She has some amazing videos about corsets or corsets versus stays, and she does incredible hand sewing. She's also unboxed some antique garments before. I really like her channel because it's educational in like the history portion, but she also shows you and talks in detail about like the construction of garments, specifically, antique garments. She is really informative, super fun to watch, has very cute dogs, and yeah, I just really, really, really enjoy watching her channel. And she inspires me to get better at hand sewing, which is something I really want to try, or at least try more of, because I think there's some things that you can achieve with hand sewing, like subtlety, that you just can't get with a machine. So it's definitely like on my list of things to do in 2022 is to try to hand sew more. And then lastly, Sex Education, the TV show. I have been obsessed with it. It's so fun. It's like such a cheesy show, but I really love how they like handle queer content, and they actually do a lot of like education around sex ed, and you know, as someone who grew up in a school that like really didn't teach that well, I just think it's so refreshing to see, you know, content on Netflix that is funny and educational, and, you know, they show so much amazing diversity in that show. So I definitely knit throughout the entire time that I watched that season, or I watched all the seasons, and I do hope that they come out with more because I just love it so much. Okay, and that's everything. That's a wrap on my 2021 favorites. I hope that you enjoyed this video. All the things I mentioned will be in the comments, or sorry, all the things I mentioned will be in the description box below. Let me know what are some of your favorite things from 2021. Maybe they fall in these categories that I had up, maybe they don't. It's all good. Whatever just floats your boat. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned for more Vlogmas videos coming up Wednesday and Friday this week, and I will see you then. And don't forget, if you are not subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post another Vlogmas video. And maybe you want to like this video to help let YouTube and the algorithm know that you like what I'm putting out.